I'll pass this chair to Victor Gao, CCG Vice President, but also formerly worked with Minister of Foreign Affairs, and at one point in time, he was also interpreter for Deng Xiaoping, and so we'll have Victor to chair the following roundtable section.
Thank you, Henry. I would like to thank all the 5 Nordic ambassadors and Ambassador Ma, of course, once again for honoring CCG with your presence and with your very important discussions. Time is short, so let's go directly to the panel discussions. But since Henry mentioned Deng Xiaoping, I was thinking, how should the Nordic experience be described by Deng Xiaoping? Probably he would say it's socialism with Nordic characteristics. Or in another way, which could be equally eloquent, it is capitalism with Nordic experience. And I think from the Chinese perspective, many of us will be tempted to say, wow, this is socialism. Or at least the Nordic experience probably has higher level of or higher degree of socialism than the Chinese socialism with Chinese characteristics. And now we are living in the new era headed by Xi Jinping. He called it socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. And I think Ambassador Ma is absolutely right in setting the tone as to how China is promoting our own modernization, industrialization. However, I think we really can learn so much from the Nordic experience. I've been fortunate to have visited all the 5 Nordic countries. I've traveled as far away as to Tromsø and Kirkenes, all the way up in the Arctic. And I always wanted to go back. So let's go directly to the list of our very distinguished Chinese panelists. I would start with Mr. Zhao Hongtao, Deputy Director General of the Bureau of North America, Oceania, and Nordic experiences in the Nordic affairs in the International Department of the CPC Central Committee. And I'm also curious as to how they group North America, Oceania, and Nordic affairs together in one unit. But that's for another day, maybe. So, Mr. Zhao, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. That's really a challenge for us. First of all, I would like to thank CCG for holding this event, which surely will enhance the mutual learning between China and Nordic countries along the path in pursuit of common prosperity. Nordic countries are forerunner in pursuit, but in terms of a common prosperity, we know the Nordic countries have the lowest Gini coefficient among the at least OECD countries. And as the ambassadors have mentioned, that the Nordic countries established a universal welfare system and explore many innovative measures to improve the efficiency of public service sectors. I still recall vividly the education voucher system in Sweden. And recently I read a lot about the universal basic income experiment in Finland, which is very interesting, and we keep a close eye on that. And as to China, the 20th National Congress of CPC declares that CPC will advance Chinese modernization to realize the rejuvenation of Chinese nation. And one of the distinguishing features of Chinese modernization is common prosperity for all. And now the roadmap for advancing the common prosperity has already been drawn. And roughly speaking, we will march along several lines of operation. The first is that we will try our best to achieve high quality development. And as we have always said, just as happy life is achieved through hard work, and common prosperity can only be created with innovation and hard work. And just as your excellencies have mentioned that we need to create value first before we share them. Yeah, that's so that we must achieve high quality development. And the second, we need to to put forward a more equitable or more evenly, more justified distribution system to narrow the gaps between individual incomes and consumption levels until they fall in appropriate range. And we will help the more low-income earners enter the middle-income bracket through creating more jobs. And the middle-income earners will reach around 800 million by 2035. That will create an olive-shaped superstructure. And another important line of operation is that we will ensure equitable access to basic public services. By basic public services, we refer to education, pension, medical care, such things. Just as President Wang have just mentioned, we have established the largest medical care system, education system around the world, but we will try to do more. And we will gradually increase basic pension benefits for rural and urban residents. And but I also want to mention one point is that we must keep in mind maintaining the sustainability of our economic development and financial resources while we are trying to improving our basic public services. We must not be overtly ambitious or get people's hopes up too much by making promises that we are not able to keep. Finally, though China and the Nordic countries are quite different in many ways, yet we believe we have much more in common. We all aspire to make people's life better. We all try our best to build a more cohesive society, and common prosperity is an important means to achieve all that. We believe China and the Nordic countries have a lot to learn from each other and to many opportunities to work together to move forward together along this course. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Zhao. I think the 5 ambassadors, as well as Mr. Zhao, mentioned one thing very important, that is to create wealth before you divide it up or allocate it. It reminds me of what Deng Xiaoping said, development is the hard truth. And don't argue about ideology, focus on development. Once you build up the pie, then you can divide it more equitably among the people.